The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL, but you are urged to like and share them on Facebook because it's time for Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World on US 1 between Orange Avenue and Avenue A in the historic arcade building across from City Hall in downtown Fort Pierce. And now, here's your host, Joanne Augusto.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everyone is having an amazing morning. Woo, Thursday. Here we go. Almost the weekend.
Wow.
Yahoo!
Yeah, almost. We were stressing that on Swap Shop, but people
Yeah.
call in on the show to make a little money before the day they're waiting for tomorrow. They're waiting for the payday to come in.
There you go. There you go. Well, okay, so I walk into the show, everybody, and the owners go, "Oh, no, it's Dr. Shipe is on. You missed your hour." And I almost fell for it. These car lines have got my brain in a loop.
I told you, we have too much fun around here.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love being here. It's awesome. Great energy, great people, as always. So, good morning again. Thank you so much for spending some time with me this morning. For all the newbies that just tuned in, welcome, welcome. This is a live call-in show. So, if your question has to do with health, nutrition, supplements, any healthy lifestyle habits, please call in. We love anything you have to say, so all hour long, give us a holler. So we always start the show with our breathing exercise, so we definitely need that this morning, at least I do. So let's just do 3 times this morning, Cliff. We're going to breathe in using our nose for 5, hold for 5, and release for 5 for a couple times, okay? Ready?
Now, this is very relaxing, folks, so let me invite you to go ahead and, if you wish, continue to do so throughout the whole show while you listen.
Nice.
Try that sometime. You don't have to. It's just a recommendation to try it a little longer than we do it.
Okay, here we go. Exhale
right.
all the
Exhale.
negative out.
Okay. And inward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, inhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. And now one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Thank you, Cliff.
Most health experts and doctors and medical people recommend breathing as a regular exercise.
Yes, you have that voice down pat, that disclaimer or authoritative voice at the end of every message.
Well, the truth always has to hurt somebody.
There you go. Well, we, I made a joke about it a few shows back about my fiance's phone, Apple phone. It tells him when to breathe. So sure enough, last night it was about 8:30, I think maybe 8 o'clock. It reminded him to breathe.
Was it like sleep apnea or something? Or?
No, it's just basically just like what we talk about on the show, that so many of us are shallow breathers.
We get tensed
and
up.
we don't fill our lungs up, and we really don't take that oxygen in. I mean, I have people come into my store all the time. I need to buy things that promote oxygen. I need food-grade hydrogen peroxide and similar items. And the whole point is that you don't have to buy anything. You can just do it with fresh air breathing. Now, today's show is going to be about how to detoxify the body using your own organ systems with the help of a few key supplements, very affordable supplements. But the first step is the deep breathing that I'm going to go over in the lung section. But it's really kind of funny whenever his phone makes that noise, and it's not like any of the other reminder noises. I'm like hysterical, like a phone is telling you to breathe. so yes, everyone
phone.
breathe and breathe deep. Yes, and just a reminder, at Nutrition World, I still have all of Garden of Life probiotics at 30% off. Remember, the route to absorption and good health and good detoxification, you definitely need probiotics for that. So they're extremely affordable, normally 20% off, a little extra help throughout the summer. So please take advantage of that. It's going to be over in 1 week, okay? So we're going to start today's show with a quote. So it usually goes, "You are what you eat." It's a very famous quote. A lot of nutritionists use it often, but the one thing that I want to kind of tweak a bit is not only you are what you eat, but you are what you eat, you are what you drink, you are what you absorb, and you are what you think. So there is definitely so much science now that proves that the words that you tell yourself or your surrounding environment does also dictate much of your lifestyle. There are people that eat extremely healthy, but still have negative mind frames or a negative environment and still die from heart disease or stress related illnesses or digestive disorders, and they really do eat well. So, really, it is not just what you eat, it's what you're drinking, thinking, and absorbing. So, we really need to be very mindful of our surroundings and how we're behaving in life. It affects others, and others affect us when we let it. So we need to really be mindful about that. And I want to say that I have a new listener. I hope Amanda's listening. If you are, welcome to the show, Amanda. Thank you for tuning in. So yesterday I told her at the store she was getting an Ion Foot Cleanse, a wonderful, smart, beautiful young lady, and I was telling her that the show is going to be about water today. But last night, as I was doing some researching about water, I realized that topic a little complicated. Not that my listeners wouldn't understand, but it's a little bit hard to get an hour show out of the water conversation because it's just basically a matter more of opinion than fact. There is no clear science on really truly the best company's water system. At my home, I use Connecticut, so I can give that my seal of approval. I've been using it for many, many years. Since I moved to Jensen, I first had installed in my new home, and it is a whole house water filtration system. It removes, the chlorine and a lot of the junk that we don't want to drink in. But reverse osmosis is always awesome to have inside the home, and then an alkalizing machine. These are all great things to have. But I just really want to say for sure, your body is 72%, about 72% water. So you really want to make sure what water choices you're making each and every day are the best you can make. So be very mindful about what your water is in. So the containers, are they plastic? Are they the better plastic of the different plastics? If you can get glass, please choose glass water bottles. It's much better to get a very simple home filtration system and refill glass bottles than buy inexpensive, cheap, small water bottles. That is for sure. They do anti-mold, antifungal treatments to those little bottles, and those little bottles still contain some of the most hazardous chemical stabilizers that are available. So if you do choose plastic for convenience and safety, especially with young children, there are many options that will say PCB free, but be aware that there are other chemicals. So do not heat those water bottles up too hot. If you need to wash them by hand. Do not put them in the dishwasher when you're reusing them, and do not put hot liquids into them. So just really the water topic again, you want to really work on getting chlorine out, fluorides out, and just look into your water system treatment options and make sure that they've been in the business for a while. They use credible type of carbon and filtration sources because it's really water is important. So that's the first method to keep your body healthy and detoxify it. If there's not enough water in there that's clean, then your body is overstressed just to keep the main fluid system working and in check and balanced. So, Cliff, you're awful quiet today. Are you like my teenage son on your phone? Yeah, no, look at, I have to test you on this.
The show.
Yeah, no, Cliff is always so awesome. He's so into health, but I had to get him involved with this question because I've asked you 2 times in the past, and I want to see if you're absorbing.
Uh-oh.
So there's some pressure. I know. I'm sorry about
There
the
will
pressure.
be a test on this. Huh?
What is the body's largest organ?
Oh, would you like the proper name or would you like the street name?
Oh, well, you are so sure of this. You better get this right after that intro.
Oh, watch this. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Read my lips. Epidermis.
Oh my gosh, let's get it. Come on, do we have an applause button?
Thank you. Thank you.
God, and I haven't heard the word epidermis in so long. I actually had a process for a moment like, oh yes, that's the skin.
Tell somebody that their epidermis is showing and watch what they do.
Oh my gosh, seriously, I haven't heard that word in so long. Epidermis,
the next time Greg tries to pull a practical joke on you, just say, hey, your epidermis is showing.
Oh, no, seriously, I am getting him back for that one. I don't know. I feel like I've been pranked so bad right now that I am getting him back.
You've been punked.
Yeah, and I know he's listening, so when you're least expecting it, young man, you're going to get payback.
Wait a minute. You called him a young man. Are you implying that? Well, never mind. I won't go there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just staying with everyone's a young. We're all young at heart, young in mind.
Absolutely.
Well, congratulations. You got it right. So, yeah, I had to call him out on that because I asked him a couple times. A lot of people forget about their skin being involved with their body. They think it's just this little, oh, gosh, Matt and I are watching this crazy show on Netflix called Altered Carbon. If anyone wants to watch a crazy show on Netflix, it's called Altered Carbon. And they call their body, their external body, their sleeve.
Oh.
And I mean, that's suitable if you think about it, like put the sleeve on. But yes, so the epidermis or skin is the largest living organ and critical to help keep the bad stuff out, but also to help you eliminate, detoxify through your skin. And so the first part of the show, we're going to talk about some tricks on how to keep the system clean and healthy using your skin as the way it's supposed to be used, okay? So, and it's also called the third kidney. Did you know that, Cliff?
The third kidney.
So we know that the kidneys, which are going to be in the next topic, phenomenal for detoxifying. But I didn't, that's a perfect thing, the third kidney.
Yeah, that makes every bit of sense in the world because, well, we won't get into the details, but sweat is a result of the skin being a lot like kidneys. And the other thing that kidneys do is right around that area somewhere, but the consistency is pretty much the same.
Yes, and that's the whole thing. It's like sweating. A lot of us really aren't doing the sweating we used to, and you would assume living in Florida with this horrific heat and humidity, we are, but we're hiding indoors with kind of indoor air pollution. We're just recirculating air, and no matter how fancy of a filter you buy, it's still breathing in indoor air pollution.
Well, yeah, and the humidity in the air is enough to cause dangerous things like mold to be fed and things like that.
Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that next week. I definitely have a little topic to talk about for that.
Ooh.
And there's an expression also that I use, like, don't put anything on your skin that you wouldn't eat. Now, I know that's a tricky one. There's a lot of really beautiful lotions out there and really wonderfully smelling perfumes and colognes and, but it's really important. You look at your skin as something that's going to absorb what you put on it. So if you take a fancy lotion that has 30 different ingredients and 27 of them are chemically derived, you're putting on your skin, sometimes even after the shower, every single day. There will be an impact on your endocrine system, your elimination system, your immune system. So really think of your skin as a living organ because it is, and don't put anything on your skin that you would not eat, or at least check the ingredients and make sure they're naturally derived. Really important. So the skin loves to be brushed. Did you know that, Cliff? It loves to be brushed.
It likes to be sanded and filed.
There you go. Oh, yeah, that's like my feet, right?
Yeah. You got calluses
do you remember
on your feet like
when we talked about the dry skin brushing?
Oh, yeah.
The dry skin brushing, amazing. The dry skin brushing is something I've been promoting for years and years. It's a $10 brush you can buy at any health food store. It looks like a regular shower brush, but the key to the dry skin brushes is you do not get them wet, ever. You want to keep them really dry. And you always brush your skin in the direction towards the heart. So if you're doing your arms, you do it up towards the heart, the legs, the feet, the ankles, up towards the heart.
There's a
But if
reason
you're
for that
doing your
motion,
neck,
right?
yes, it's kind of like if you think of the heart as your pump, you know? So you're bringing all the junk so it can be pumped and filtered and excreted out. But where you really want to pay attention is your lymphatic system. So your inner thighs, your underneath, like by your ears, your lymphatic system there, and underneath your arms. So you definitely want to really focus on brushing that area. And you do not have to do really, really rough strokes. It's just like this gentle dry skin brushing up towards the heart to get the skin to release the dead skin cells that might be there that's blocking any type of detoxification. Make sure you're not using deodorant, especially during the dry skin brushing. It will defeat the purpose of not letting the skins release. And your lymphatic system is critical for detoxification. Critical. It's your immune system. It's your detoxification. And your lymphatic system, it has two really big areas underneath the armpits where we normally cover with deodorant. So you want to keep that open and available to be brushed. If you're sensitive, just literally do it like almost like you can barely feel it. That still will work, and then you gradually build up. Most of the online sites that give you like YouTube tutorials on skin brushing say 10 minutes. I always say don't stress about it. Do your whole body, okay, especially light in the neck area close to the face, and then do it again at night before you go to bed. Maybe it's 5 minutes each, maybe 10 minutes each, but it feels great, makes your skin glow, makes you feel healthier. So I would definitely give that every morning a routine. So, and then the next system is kidneys. Kidneys. I really think we overlook that. So I got to make a little Netflix promo again. People are going to think I'm starting to work for Netflix. But I was, going through the documentaries. I really love watching Netflix documentaries. They really feel legit and unbiased. Like, I don't feel like they're politically based or like someone's
Biased,
funding them.
Yeah.
It's just like, how you watch some and you're like, oh, you can tell somebody sponsored this.
Yeah.
It's like totally promoting what they're selling. Yeah. But a lot of their documentaries don't feel that way to me. And they had this one from Britain that was an autopsy on an obese person. It was crazy gross and crazy scary, but so informative. And I had to literally hold the handles on my couch to get through it. But I wanted to learn. So not only could I share with my customers, but also really see, they always say, like, when you have extra weight on you, the doctor warns you, oh, you might have a heart attack early, or you might get diabetes, or, you're going to have more hip and knee problems. These things we all hear about, right? And, of course, the emotional issues that go along with obesity. But I want to see, like, really what the organs look like inside. And I've seen diagrams, or like statistics about like fatty liver and swollen heart and stuff, but I wanted to see. So I did it. And let me tell you, if anyone wants to watch it, just, don't do it right after you eat. So they had two people. They had a pathologist do it and an autopsy specialist. And do you know this is not allowed? Normally videotaping is never allowed. But this woman, I guess there's a place in our country, in I think it's California. Yeah, California, that people will sign their bodies to science, and they can be used for the autopsy. I didn't know that. I thought that, yes, you can donate your organs. I didn't realize that they could basically use
the surgery colleges. They use cadavers.
Oh yeah, they would obviously need that for studying. Oh gosh.
But this is for the public. She made this. She
well,
signed
they
the paperwork.
Yes, that it could be viewed, and it was a really big deal for her. And I thought that was kind of really special, and the family agreed to it, obviously. And it was very well done, very as respectful as anything could be. And The one thing that was scary, though, when they were cutting into her abdominal area, and most of her extra weight was in the abdomen.
Right.
She had 100 extra pounds on her, and none of it was in the arms and legs. None of it. Like, her arms and legs were actually looked very normal.
Yeah.
And that is like, if any of the listeners aren't aware of this, if your weight is in your belly, that is the most dangerous place. So that is putting pressure on everything that runs your body. So if you look at the scale and you go, oh, I'm not too bad, I'm like, just a little bit over, but then you look down and you can't see the scale, that's where the issue is.
That's Dunlap's disease, when your belly Dunlaps over your belt buckle, so you
Love
can't see
it.
your feet.
Love it. Yeah, exactly. If you have to, like, really shift your belly for clothing or to see something below, that is definitely a warning sign that no matter what the scale says, you need to rework your lifestyle to make healthier choices. So they open her up. The layers of fat were inches and inches deep, and it looks just like you would think. It looks like lard that got hardened, like bright yellow lard. And she even said that the knife was so greasy, like she couldn't even get through. It was a little intimidating. But onto the kidney area, they were covered with so much fat, and fat is supposed to be around our organs to protect them. Okay, so just so everyone's clear, we do need fat for hormone production, brain cell production, protection of our organs, but there's supposed to be like a little casing of it. There was so much that you could not even see the organs. They were like smothered in it, and all the organs were extremely swollen. We always hear the expression fatty liver, but there's also swelling that occurs where your organs can try to accommodate this extra weight, this extra pressure. Everyone thinks the stomach gets big. The stomach stays the same size. Like, her stomach was exactly the normal size of a stomach. But all the stuff that happens around the organs and the swelling, it happens to the liver, the kidneys, and the heart. I actually did think that the stomach gets stretched out, but it does not. So I learned that. But the kidneys, they become very almost like a different spongy-like consistency, and it had like holes in it that it wasn't supposed to. So that was a little concerning. So the kidneys, people say, well, if I'm getting fat, I'm not really affecting my kidneys because I'm drinking water. I'm still keeping my kidneys clean. So I want you to know that is incorrect. That's a myth. When the water is the fluid of your body is trying to get clean and go through the kidneys, definitely fat and all that extra weight in your abdominal cavity slows down that filtration system. It's kind of like if you don't clean your water filtration carbon and you keep the same in for a long time, as the water's trying to get through to get to the clean membrane, it's taking forever because so much is blocking it up in the dirty carbon system. So you have to think of it the same way. When there's so much fat in the abdominal cavity, the fluid trying to get to the kidneys to be cleaned is really having a hard time pushing through, and it's putting a lot of pressure on the kidneys. So you definitely want to really be careful of that and check out that show. I know I'm making it sound really scary, but it's really only they tell all these wonderful life stories in between, and it's only a few parts where they're actually showing the actual organ and the damage that's done with obesity. So yeah, that's called postpartum obituary. That is the name. I'm 99% sure. All right, so then there comes so we talked about the skin, okay? So we're going to do dry skin brushing to help your skin stay clean and trying not to put any chemicals on it. And then your kidneys, we're going to try to keep the abdominal weight normal, and we are going to try to drink the cleanest, healthiest water possible. Normally, I tell people to drink 1 gallon a day. I only say that because some people have a hard time getting their required amount of water. So if you really overestimate that might help you out. Or a little trick I do is tell people to do 8 to 10 ounces every hour they're awake, and then it ends up being the right amount by the end of the day.
Right.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah, it's getting a little out of breath there. So good morning, Bill. How are you?
Good morning. Good, thank you. And thanks for your show.
Oh, thank you.
This is probably unrelated to your subject this morning, but my landlady looking forward to turning 88 in September, and she's recently had bad arthritis attacks on her, and one of her hip joints has been semi-dislocating for a while, and then that went away. I was wondering what she could take nutritionally or supplements or what to help alleviate some of it.
Oh, that's so sweet for you to call in and check on her, check on that for her. So there is a product I sell that every health food store in the neighborhood does sell. It's called Curamin, Curamin. It's very economical. It's scientifically studied, money-back guarantee. I take it every day. I actually have the formulator's going to be on my show soon. He's going to be on the show quite a bit. But the detail of it, the main ingredients work as an anti-inflammatory and also work to break up the fibrin, the tissue that kind of makes things a little sticky in the body. So it will help her feel less pain, but also help keep her system more stabilized and less inflamed. So everything will work better in her later years to keep her healthier longer.
Yeah, the only edema I've noticed is slightly around her ankles and stuff, but she had her heart checked and it's all right.
Yeah, she should still. I've noticed sometimes with people in that age group that they really get nervous about drinking enough water because they don't want to go to the restroom as often, or they're nervous about bladder control. So I would definitely try to get her to drink little increments of water all throughout the day so her kidneys keep working, her lungs keep working. Try to get her outside to take nice deep breaths, which I'm going to go over next, to keep those lungs. Unfortunately, we hear a lot about when people end up in the hospital system, it's the lungs and the kidneys that normally have issues. So really get her to drink a little water each and every hour. Get outside, nice deep breaths in the fresh air, using her nose, not her mouth, and that should really help her feel better.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot. We'll be down to get some of this
Curamin.
Curamin.
Awesome. Thank you, Bill. You have an awesome day. Thanks so much for calling in.
Thank you.
You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. All right.
Curamin.
Curamin. So, yes, there's Curamed and Curamin, and it is probably the only supplements I never skip. And my probiotics. Okay, so I'm lying. So, probiotics, yeah. I love those, selling them for years. People keep coming back for more and more, and I will definitely, Terry's going to be on the show talking about that
Terry
and so much more.
Naturally?
Yes.
Limerend.
Yes. Wow, good memory, Cliff.
Wow.
So, yes,
that's
he's going to
awful.
be on, and also some of his educators.
I don't want to remember everything.
Oh, yeah, well, I know, right? We can select a few things.
Yeah.
So you want to do a quick break, Cliff? And then when we get back, we're going to talk about the lungs, the liver, and the colon.
Oh,
How
boy.
exciting. Woohoo.
That sounds like something we probably want to stay tuned for and pay close attention to. Because listening to this show can not only make you smarter, it can make you feel better, too. Joanne's World of Nutrition will be right back.
Guiding the Treasure Coast in health, one person at a time. That's their motto at Joanne's Nutrition World, Suite 121, in the historic Arcade Building on US 1, downtown Fort Pierce. Joanne brings more than 25 years of experience in the natural health industry, right here to you. Take advantage of this free personal guide to wellness and good health. Meet with Joanne herself and get started. Nutrition World always provides you with the hottest new product lines, natural and homeopathic remedies, herbals, and best of all, expert advice from the people who care. Call Joanne at 464-3598, 464-3598, and learn the correlation between diet and great health. Stop in today. The expert guidance to health is always free at Nutrition World. Nutrition World, Suite 121 in the Arcade Building, US 1, downtown Fort Pierce.
I'm glad I got to listen to this show because I feel better just listening to this show sometimes. Welcome back to Joanne's World of Nutrition from Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. Once again, here's your host, Joanne Augusto.
Hi again. Thank you so much for listening this morning. I really appreciate you taking the time. We already have a caller, so I wanted to say good morning, Pat. How are you today?
I'm fine, but I got a question for you about breathing through your nose.
Sure.
Suppose you can't.
Ooh, good question.
Well, there are those strips that you can buy from the drugstore. If you'd like to do the breathing exercise, just wearing them for, maybe a few minutes a day. And there are also techniques on YouTube where they're breathing specialists. Some of them are in the yogi field, but they teach you how to use, if you have a deviated septum or some other issues, they do cover how you can do correct breathing with sinus blockages and other issues. But if you do have some type of past injury that is blocking the nose completely, then obviously you would only have mouth breathing as an option.
And will that work for the deep breathing thing?
It will have to. There are techniques though that you can do through mouth breathing. They're a little more challenging. I have never done them. But it would definitely be better than not practicing deep breathing at all. So I will try to look into that further and bring it up on next week's show.
Okay.
But you can definitely know that if you do it through the mouth, there is a little blood pressure that's involved. So you would try to definitely count slowly and do it really slow. Don't try to do any rapid breathing through the mouth because that can increase your blood pressure.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Thanks, Pat. Have an awesome day.
I remember seeing a device that you hook up to your nostrils, and it flushes. One side goes in, the other side comes out.
The neti pot?
Is that what that's called?
Yes, you can use a neti pot, but if he has had an injury that there is some serious blockage, there is difficulty with that even. And if some of that water escapes up, you can get a piercing headache that you'll remember for months. So neti pot, cleansing the sinus. And actually, Cliff, that's so suitable for today's topic because cleaning your sinus passages is what yogis do every single morning in the shower over their sink. And that's another great way for the body to detoxify themselves because you're breathing in all these pollutants and pollens and stuff every single day. So doing a neti pot or a nasal rinse is also an awesome idea.
I was in surgery once, and there was an infection in my body, but a lot of it had accumulated in my sinuses. So I started to wake up during the surgery from the anesthetic, and I could feel a catheter up inside of my sinuses. And it was very uncomfortable. I shut myself back off quickly.
Yes, when I see people pulling those out, it's a little, it's a little hard to even watch that.
Yeah, but folks, when you got to do it, you got to do it. And breathing through the nose isn't that hard to do. If you relax just right, sometimes your sinuses will make way for you, but sometimes you need a little help. And when you do, always call Joanne because she'll know what to do.
You're so sweet. The neti pot is also awesome when you add some Himalayan salt to it, which most kits come with the powderized salt. Okay. Some of it's Himalayan, some of it's not. I strongly suggest powderizing Himalayan salt. It's a better quality salt. And you put just a little bit in there with the warm water, and that works to help kill the bacteria. Right. Now, they have gotten some fancy systems out there now where you can put in your neti pot. I usually say go with things that have been used over the centuries that are time-tested. The sinuses aren't meant to put all this stuff up there. So keep it simple. we promote at the store 2 things in your sinus cavity. Actually, I'm lying, 3. So it is Himalayan salt, colloidal silver, and then there is a xylitol spray nozzle that goes right into your sinus cavities with like a vertical sprayer. So those 3 things, time tested, easy to use, great to clear the sinuses. And also this is a great, if something's wrong with your sinuses and you've tried everything, go to a chiropractor. Sometimes you need adjustments to just basically balance the spine and that communication between that and your sinus cavity. And I'm going to have my chiropractor come on the radio show with me soon.
All right.
Yes, so he's going to cover that in more detail because remember, the body is all connected. The spine, the nerves, the cells, the organs, they all work as one big happy family, and one will help each other out if the other one is in distress. So you have to know that your nose isn't hanging out there all by itself, just kind of at its own, like, oh my gosh, I'm hurting, please,
Is stuff
no,
like
it's all
eucalyptus,
connected.
stuff like eucalyptus
Oh my gosh,
helpful?
well, yeah, you know me and my oils, like put in a diffuser, tea tree oil, eucalyptus, peppermint. Oh my gosh, Matt and I have planned, we would love to have sprayers coming out of our ceiling. I mean, we love how all that tea tree and eucalyptus smells and how it clears the lungs and makes you feel energetic and focused.
Just think of all the koala bears that are going to hang
I know.
around.
Oh, are they the cutest things ever? All right, so we definitely need to talk about the liver and the colon when we talk about detox, but just a quick overview on the lungs.
Okay.
Get out into the fresh air and breathe, because your lungs, oh my gosh, those beautiful, precious things, they need really deep breathing to clean them out in fresh air. And when I say fresh air, I don't mean standing on US 1.
That's
now,
not
even though
fresh
my
air.
store is on US 1 and I appreciate, the traffic, that is not a good place to stand and breathe. And if you're one of the bridge walkers, that's not a good place either. It's great for the exercise, but I see a lot of people out there doing their stretching and their deep breathing while 1,000 cars are blowing past them.
Yeah.
So you really want to go to a place. Obviously, it has to be somewhat convenient to your lifestyle, but go to a place that you can have some peace and a look around you, that they're not spraying, mosquito stuff or, fertilizers or pesticides. Yeah, I know it's tough, but just do your best.
When we're driving on US 1 and we're approaching a light at Avenue A or Orange Avenue, we see your shop right there in the front of the ancient historic arcade building. But sometimes parking is a question, and the folks, all they got to really know is that US 1 is also 4th Street. So behind Joanne's the arcade place, that's 5th Street. So you go in Avenue A or Orange Avenue to 5th Street, plenty of parking in the back.
Yes, there's plenty of parking, and I tell people I love that we don't have to deal with parallel parking anymore like we did at my old location, as well as the Potbelly restaurant, which I love. Lisa, love the restaurant, but she does pull in a really big breakfast crowd.
Oh, yeah.
So if you want to come right around 9:30 when we open, usually the breakfast crowd has already started leaving. So it's really, if you only get there during those really big peak food times, that's when it's a little more challenging, but never impossible.
But you go straight through the back to get into Joanne's store. It's really easy.
Yep, right through the Potbelly hallway, and it's, right there on the end.
Wow.
All right, so the liver. This conversation came up yesterday. A gentleman came in, and he did not speak any English, and I was trying to help him the most, and he was saying the word fat in Spanish, and then he was saying his liver, and I said, "Oh, you have fatty liver." And he's like nodding yes, and then all of a sudden he found this tiny little piece of paper that his doctor wrote down, and it said milk thistle. And I get so excited.
You just so happen to have some.
Yes,
didn't you?
well, yes, I've been selling milk thistle for years and years and years. It has always kept up with the science, and it's been used, I think I'm going to say 1,000 years, super long time. But the point of the milk thistle is that the doctor told him to take it for his fatty liver. Whenever a real MD says those things, I do cartwheels in my store.
That's like an
because
endorsement.
I don't care how little that piece of paper is. If it's not on a prescription pad, I don't care. The fact, because milk thistle has been clinically proven to help fatty liver and rejuvenate liver tissue.
And the medicine profession is just now starting to recognize
Right,
this.
but I know it took a long time, but I don't even care. How awesome is that? And the best part, there's no side effects, and it's very economical. $25 for a 3-month supply.
Wow.
So that's super economical. So, $8 a month to help clean your liver, and you don't have to have a liver issue to use milk thistle. All of us are dealing with toxins every day. Some of them are self-induced, especially with alcohol, smoking, pharmaceuticals, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes, this poor gentleman, he was trying to tell me he doesn't drink, he doesn't do drugs. He didn't want me to think he was doing drugs on a daily basis. And finally, another customer that spoke Spanish and English came in, so she became my translator. He was really nervous that I would think that he was doing something like that. I said, no. Fatty liver is diet. And I tried to explain to him, and he had a very large abdomen, to really be careful of the starches, the rice, and
That's
the
a clue.
sugars. And he said that the doctor didn't tell him that. I said, well, that's okay. Your doctor told you about milk thistle, so we're still giving him lots of credit.
So if I'm sitting on a reclining chair and I'm having a bite of dinner or something, and I set the plate on this little shelf on my belly there, that's a sign that I might need milk thistle for my liver.
Yeah, it's definitely a good sign.
Been there, done
So
that.
milk thistle is awesome. You can go online, and there are pages and pages of research about milk thistle. There is tea that you can get. There is liquid extracts. There are capsules. But it's so good for you. And Silymarin, I love the name Silymarin. Silymarin, Silymarin, is the active component in milk thistle. So when most people buy the milk thistle, they look for an extract. Extract doesn't normally have to mean a liquid. An extract means that the herbal company is guaranteeing that the active ingredient is at a certain percentage in every single capsule. So the one that I promote at my store has 80% of the active ingredient, which is Silymarin. So Silymarin is definitely awesome to help clean up the liver, help rejuvenate it. And there are many serious studies with liver cancer, hepatitis. There was one interesting fact that there is a mushroom that, if it's eaten, is very, could kill you. And the milk thistle actually can deactivate that poison that mushroom has. So I thought that was super cool. And if you have cirrhosis of the liver, it can increase your life expectancy. Another really good thing. So I look at it like, if it can help people that have these serious liver issues going on, then why wouldn't we just take it to help our liver do a better job on an everyday basis? So I would definitely look into milk thistle. Again, very affordable. Another study, it helps brain function. I'm realizing with my customer base that people are really getting anxious about losing their brain function. Alzheimer and dementia scare is rising. People extremely concerned about that as they get older. So milk thistle, again, they're spending money on a lot of brain studies, so it's definitely helping the brain as well. And it helps the bones. So we definitely want to protect our bones, as I want to sit up straight. So you want to definitely promote good bone growth, strong bones. So it goes on and on. I mean, I could have a 1-hour show just on milk thistle. And if there's any breastfeeding moms out there, it actually helps production of breast milk, lowers blood sugar levels. So yes, on and on and on. And it's totally safe. Lots of studies, very economical. So milk thistle to help the liver get cleaned out and rejuvenated.
A question about thistle in
Sure.
particular. Now, we know of a thistle plant that's a pretty spiny and uncomfortable plant to brush up against out there in the cow pasture.
I have a picture of it. Would you recognize if it's the same one?
Yeah, because when I'm thinking of thistle, I'm wondering if milk thistle isn't actually thistle milk, because it has a milky type
This
of.
is the picture, and it does look pretty.
Oh yeah,
thistle.
that's it.
That's it.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. They're quite painful and uncomfortable to brush up against.
Well, I will tell you that's a perfect lead into my next herb that you should take for liver and kidney health is dandelion. Because we all try to eradicate it and get it out of our yards, right?
Yeah, but did you know you could take the greens from a dandelion and cook them up like regular, like collard
Cliff,
greens?
The uses for dandelion are endless. I said this morning, I am bringing home dandelion greens. I love the taste of dandelion, whether it be raw or cooked in a tea, in a capsule, in an extract. I used to use it much more often. Sometimes I forget about certain things that I know and love and then get on to something else. But dandelion, people, so inexpensive, so easy to use.
There's a milky substance in that,
yes,
too.
and do you know that can help cure eczema and psoriasis?
Wow.
Isn't that phenomenal?
Well, we used to take the stems from the flowers. They were little tubes, and would run them in together and make little chains.
Nice.
Like little chain necklaces.
Well,
out of
I
them.
just always remember running around the yard with them like it was a bouquet,
Yeah,
you know, as a
but we
little
had
girl.
it all over our hands, on our skin, and we find out accidentally that it's good for us.
Isn't it crazy? Like, we will go to these stores and spend like hundreds of dollars on these fancy creams, and meanwhile, we can get like this dandelion weed that's phenomenal for us. So I definitely want to spend a few minutes on this dandelion because it is, again, one of those things that are affordable, has oh my gosh, so many testimonials, so much medical science behind it. It can come in any form. So if you hate swallowing pills, drink a tea. If you don't want to drink a tea, put it in salad. You don't like salad, cook it and put it in soup. Whatever way you want it, it will be of a benefit to you.
Garnishment with fish.
Yes. I mean, you can chop it real fine. Like I have one of those little choppers.
Yep.
And if you cut it up real fine and mix it in the salad, even the kids don't even normally know it's in there because it gets to these tiny little dark green pieces. It almost looks like a scallion when you cut it real fine.
Yeah.
So
the flavor is a lot better than a scallion.
Always has it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not sure about, I know Nelson's has it. I'm not sure if they have it on an everyday basis, but I always say if it's at Publix, you know that it has to be popular, which makes me so happy.
How about just pulling it out of your yard?
Well, if you don't treat your yard.
Right, as long as there's no Roundup or insecticides.
Yes. Now, that's the one thing that makes me feel better about buying dandelion because it's naturally resistant because like it is a weed. So usually they don't have to spray it as much as crops that the insects love. So that's, that again, you know, and always buy things as organic as possible. So, you know, if you can stay with your local farmers markets or your local stands and then, or if you choose organic, that's great. I'm going to try to start my organic club up again that I used to have a couple years ago. So that I'm going to look into. I will put that information out over the show in a couple weeks because buying organic, I feel like I'm supporting the farmers more and I'm also nourishing my family better. All right, so dandelion, we got to cover all the amazing things it does. So normally I sell it in this very famous tea called Everyday Detox. This tea is by Traditional Medicinals. It's been around forever, and they just came up with a new version with extra dandelion in it. So it's flying off the shelves. It's like $5.99. Great for an everyday tea. So at night or in the morning, if you want to have that instead of a cup of coffee, awesome. So dandelion can be used for muscle aches, loss of appetite, upset stomach, intestinal gas, gallstones, joint pain, eczema, bruises, help urine production, to help clean out the kidneys. It helps increase bowel movements, but it doesn't cause the cramping. I mean, right there alone, isn't that enough reason
That's
to
everything.
use
It cures
it, right?
everything.
I know. It's amazing. And it actually has a lot of nutrition to it. It has fiber, like a good amount of fiber, tons of vitamin K, naturally occurring vitamin K. And for anyone that's just right now going, oh my gosh, my doctor told me not to ingest vitamin K because of the drugs they're on, their prescriptions. You need to look into this for yourself in case your doctor hasn't updated yourself. There are many studies showing that you can still ingest it from food sources, just not supplemental sources. So please update yourself on that information, okay? Because any diet that is devoid of the most healthiest greens on the planet should be looked into. Not okay. All right. So, and lots of B6, tons of naturally occurring vitamin C, which is great for your immune system. Naturally occurring iron and magnesium and calcium, things that these beautiful bones need to grow. Your hemoglobin need to be strong. So, dandelion, super duper healthy and nutritious. So, we talked about how it protects bones and teeth. And it really does. When you swallow calcium pills, people, this is not helping the situation. Our country keeps swallowing more and more calcium and having worse and worse bone density issues. So dandelion gives the body's living sources of the nutrients that it needs to be strong. So go that direction, not through the supplements. So we talked, and then, oh my gosh, seriously, Cliff, you're killing me.
Wow.
Helps diabetes, inflammation, tons of antioxidants.
Do you have any paperwork on
yes.
dandelions at your store?
Yes, and yes, there's so much paperwork in our store, and magazines and free booklets.
Wow.
Castor oil pack, everyone. Probiotics, get that colon clean. Love all of you. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to coming back next week. Have a great weekend.
And your CBD oils are at Joanne's World of Nutrition also. Yay! You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World. Archives of this show can be found on YouTube. Simply go to www.WPSLTV.com. That will direct you directly to the archives on YouTube, including Joanne's World of Nutrition. Heard every Thursday morning in the 10 o'clock hour right here on WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast, celebrating 25 years and counting.